Okay, we're gonna let folks in from the waiting room. Garland and Kim, if y'all are up for clicking those buttons. Okay, yeah, we're recording. Welcome to those who are tuning in. We're gonna wait just a second here for folks to get settled. In the meantime, we invite you, if y'all are up for sharing your name and where you're tuning in from in the chat so we can know who's in the space with us today. We're really excited to have Bernadette Lark, Kelly Key, and Connie Smith here with us today. I'm Katie Trazo. I'm an associate with the Center for Food Systems and Community Transformation. And I'm going to get us started off today with some tech logistics. We invite you all to use the chat feature for any questions or comments. Ask that you stay on mute. And we recommend viewing in speaker view so you can see who's sharing their screen. We're going to be passing the mic quite a bit today, so that'll help you stay connected with our speakers. If you're having any technical difficulties, we have Garland Mason here, who's another associate with our center. She's available via the chat feature or also via email at garlandm@bt.edu. We also want to make folks aware that this session is live captioned, and recently Zoom changed the way this looks, so the slide may not look like what you all see on your screen, but there's a way for you to access live captions. If you have any issues finding it, you can contact Garland. We also wanted to let people know that we are recording this session, and it will be available on our website in the next week, and we'll get professional captions for that as well. So this series is brought to you by the Roanoke Foodshed Network, and usually Mo McGonigal, the Director of Regional Partnerships with LEAP, presents this part of our presentation, but today I'm filling in for her. And LEAP is the fiscal sponsor for the Roanoke Foodshed Network, and there are a lot of partners who've come together around work of creating equitable and resilient food and farming systems in the Roanoke region that help produce health and abundance. And so the Roanoke region is defined as the Roanoke Valley, which includes the city and Salem as well, along with 6 surrounding counties: Craig, Botetourt, Bedford, Franklin, Floyd, and Montgomery. So that's how we're defining the region of this collaboration. And again, there are many, many partners involved in this initiative. And so these are just some of the logos and some of those listed who are really contributing to this work. But this is really an open network. So if you don't see your organization listed here, or if you're an individual and community resident, we also invite you all to participate. And we'll put in the chat, Garland has a message she can add in there. You can email Mo at leapforlocalfood.org and ask to be added to the listserv if you'd like to stay in the loop. But our near star that we're working towards is really getting the network set up and expanding it, and really creating this collaborative, action-oriented framework to prioritize food and farming systems in our region. And through that work, we've identified 4 different goals, kind of loosely around food access, regional identity, farming and food production, and network structure. And the way our network is organized is around those 4 goals. So each of those goals has a working group. And if you're new to the network and want to get tied in, those are really great ways to participate in the work with us. And then each of those working groups has co-leads, and they make up the leadership team. So that's kind of a little bit of how the structure of the network looks right now. And again, we invite folks to participate with us. And with that, we're really excited because we've been able to offer this learning exchange series featuring people in our own community that are doing really, really great work. So we're just spreading the word of what's already happening and helping helping us collectively vision the future together and take steps forward. And I'm going to pass it to our director with the center, Dr. Kim Nawalny, to introduce our speakers for the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. So glad that you're with us and able to share in this opportunity. We have 3 really wonderful voices from the community who are going to be sharing their wisdom with us and with each other. I get the privilege to introduce our speakers and help moderate for the conversation today. So I'm going to direct my eyes to my bios here and have properly introduce our three speakers. First, I have the opportunity to introduce Bernadette Lark, also known as BJ Lark. Bernadette has 25 plus years of experience as an artivist. BJ is founder and artistic director of CommUNITY-ArtsReach. She obtained her degrees and has been working on it. Has obtained an MBA, BBA, a master's in education. Currently, she serves as the program organizer at Roanoke Democracy Center and youth educator at Jefferson Center Music Lab. BJ shares and works with Artivism Virginia and a proactive community activist and advocate for those often silenced. In recent past, she has also served as Virginia musicologist, sorry about that, with the Poor People's Campaign. And BJ has worked with the Roanoke City school systems from 2005 to 2014 as an educator. So clearly BJ, you come to us with just a rich background of social movement making, art, and education. And we're really excited to learn from you today. Next, I'm going to introduce Kelly Key. Kelly is with the local environmental agriculture project, LEAP. And Kelly grew up in northern Wisconsin and graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison with a bachelor's in rural sociology. After graduating, she's worked in kids' gardens, educational farms, production farms, and farm-to-table restaurants in Wisconsin, Massachusetts, and California. Kelly and her husband moved back to her husband's hometown of Roanoke to figure out their next move, and they have never left. Roanoke is now home. Kelly has worked at LEAP since 2017, and in her role as program director, she supports the managers of the LEAP kitchen, markets, and food hub programming. When Kelly isn't working, she's typically found working on their own small farm in Southeast Roanoke with her family, where they raise vegetables and pigs. Next, I have the opportunity to introduce Connie Kenny with LEAP. Connie grew up in Bedford County and has lived in the Roanoke Valley for her life. Connie now lives in Botetourt County with her lovely family. Her daughter has many food sensitivities, and Connie's search for solutions has brought her to the local food market. Soon, this search turned into a love and appreciation for local food suppliers and market outlets in the Roanoke and surrounding areas. She is a proud promoter of the benefits of local and healthy food. After many years of buying local food, Connie started working for Good Food, Good People, a LEAP vendor and a distributor of local products, and now serves as the manager of the LEAP Mobile Market and LEAP Farmers Markets in Grandin Village and West End. So you can see now why we are calling this conversation today, Cultivating Care from the Ground Up, from mobile markets to community art. Thank you, BJ, Kelly, and Connie for spending your time with us today. We are going to begin our conversation with BJ first, share a few key highlights about your work and your wisdom, and then we will turn our attention to Kelly and Connie together around the work of LEAP. And then we will open up for some dialogue that Katie and I have prepared some questions for our panelists, and then open it up to our participants. So if you have questions that are burning, please don't forget to put them in the chat. We will do our very best to reach them all today. And with that, I turn it over to BJ.
Yes, hello everyone. I am, of course, Bernadette BJ Lark, and I am honored and humbled to be able to be here with you all to serve and learn and conversation and share. Cultivating care was such a key part of how I prepare for today because I'm glad to be in a community where we have a lot of people that is cultivating care. One of those individuals, I noticed she logged on with us today, Ms. Amazetta Anderson. She'll come up a lot in conversation because she is Community Arts Reach, a director of garden education. Of course, she serves along with so many other phenomenal individuals. So before I get into what we're going to talk about, I want to share a photo of us at one of the gardens that we started out, one of our continuum programs entitled From the Ground Up. This program started in the middle of COVID. We had been indoors and we had a lot of needs within the community that we were trying to meet with the food pantry and sending people to spaces like Carver Garden because there was a shortage, obviously, and there was a huge deficit due to poverty and low income and just trying to meet the needs of the community. So from the ground up, which is the photo I'm about to share, this is a photo that we took at a past event there at Carver Garden. As you can see, we have all ages, young, old, that gathered with us. Now that person holding the sign is, of course, Ms. Amazetta Anderson. And the sign, if I could zoom in, it actually says From the Ground Up. And that was the logo. And you notice there's a circle. I'm not sure how well I'm doing on the text side. I'm trying to zoom in as best I can. But you notice our logo, there is connection there. And so cultivating care was definitely a really good way to start today. A little bit about me, other than what you heard in the bio, is I am Gullah Geechee native. I was born and raised in Low Country, South Carolina. A lot of people hear a lot about Gullah Geechee, but Gullah Geechee itself is a culture of people who grew up in community, and I can tell you they were safe and accessible. Safety and accessibility is a necessity when it comes to being sure that you can cultivate in care. Of course, I keep driving back to that title. The food shed, when I did a little research on food shed, and me being that country Gullah Geechee girl, we have a lot of sheds down south. But those sheds are critical because what those sheds do, it provides a storehouse of space to fulfill a need at a time when it's most necessary. And so I want to say in some areas in our community, we need that food shed type of experience here. Gainesboro has little to no health food stores. No, we do have a lot of corner stores, but we do not have a lot of food shed. And so the role that the mobile market has played, I've witnessed myself. I know that showing up in the community to provide what produce and healthy food products is there is so necessary. And for that, I wanted to give a shout out for the mobile market being in place, coming around in the Northwest areas where there is very limited access to healthy food. So what is From the Ground Up that I want to talk about today? From the Ground Up is garden education for youth and families. It allows youth and families to grow and harvest food in where? Community gardens. We believe that youth and families can come together and share skills that they may already have or develop skills. We believe that community engagement is critical because it's teaching problem solving. It often teaches critical thinking, and it's also expressive. And this is where we dive into how Community Arts Reach really play a key role in cultivating care and connecting in community. Now, a lot of people may not pay close attention to a topic that I was blessed to hear, but who's missing? We often show up in space, and often it's the same people, which I'm not saying anything negative about that because I need you to keep coming. But when we come, I need us to also slow down and pay attention to who's missing. Because I was taught that from someone very wise. It almost goes back to that Fannie Lou Hamer. And I know many of you here, clearly when I say the name Fannie Lou Hamer, we know the legacy of wisdom and love and care that she left for community. But Fannie Lou Hamer cared about who was missing, and Fannie Lou Hamer was determined that she would not stop until things was good for all, not some. And that is why we gather. That is why we want to intentionally be rooted in a culture of care. So building meaningful relationships is also caring about who's missing, also continuing to be engaged in garden work. I want to talk about contributing. What contributions are being made in order to ensure that we are creating a culture of care? Are we doing enough to recognize the power within community? One of the things I want to share with you is never forget everyone you meet holds value and have the power to create goodness. I'm going to repeat that. Everyone you meet in community holds value and have the power to create goodness. Of course, I can go on and blow well past my 10 minutes, and I do not want to do that as respect for everybody's time today. So I wanted to actually talk about a story, and it's a real story, and I entitled it The Chili Cornbread Story. What happened was I was met with the ask in community, and my goal, which people always come to me because I think they think I have a magic wand to say, poof, appear, and there's hundreds and drones of people in the hundreds to show up. That's not the case. That took time and skill, and it comes from relationship building. It comes from actually cultivating care. It comes from knowing that you don't know it all and you don't have it all, but if there is a common goal of an ask, trust me, if you go to community members with that ask and they listen to you, you listen to them, so much greatness can happen. So in this story, I went to an elder in community, and I knew exactly what I needed done and how I was going to get it done. And she slowed me down. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I've been here. I've been here for years. And I already, heard what you're going to say, and I'm not interested. And I thought about, because we were in relationship, I knew she could make a really good vegetarian chili and cornbread. And so what I did, instead of pushing my agenda, I said, you know what, can you just provide your chili and cornbread? We'll, do what we can to compensate the ingredients that you need. But can you come out, make this meal, share this meal? And I will tell you, that individual came, connected as one of our lead educators, and have been there ever since. And so you have to have a willingness to recognize that the only way we can truly cultivate care and stay connected in good relationships is when we recognize the value that others hold, and when we recognize that they can create goodness as well. And it may not always align with the plan that you come out the box with, but if you would be flexible and open and leave space for those that are different, leave space for those to share their culture and what they have that they want to share with you, we will see more and more people begin to show up in community that we need now more than ever to show up. I am so grateful for our From the Ground Up program, because alongside educating families and parents, it leaves meaningful time to stand in the garden and hang out. And we are able to drum at times. We're able to share artwork. We're able to share poetry. We're able to sing songs together. I wanted to share one more photo while we have time. This is over at the new Envision Center. I'm not sure if many of you heard about it. The Envision Center serves about 300 youth in the community. It is right across the street from Lansdowne. We started a program there. We received a small grant from Roanoke Redevelopment Housing. That program was led by Ms. Amazetta and Polly Branch. And there we are near the garden. Now, I had some better photos, but being that I'm not tech savvy, I ended up having to go with what I could grab the quickest. But it is so important that we continue to cultivate care. It's so important to be open to discuss ways that we can change some things and continue to work toward that until things are good for all, not some. Thank you for allowing me the space to share.
Thank you so much, BJ. Love those pictures, getting to see the work on the ground, and thanks for sharing. We're going to pass it to Kelly and Connie now. So we're going to spotlight them, and y'all are welcome to share your screen if you'd like to, but we'll pass the stage to you all.
We have a little PowerPoint presentation I'm going to share. Is that showing up okay?
Yep, that looks great.
Okay. All right, so I am Kelly, and this is my amazing coworker, Connie. We work at LEAP, Local Environmental Agriculture Project, as a nonprofit based in Roanoke, Virginia. See if I can get my slide to go. There we go. So a little about LEAP. Our mission is to create an equitable food and farming system which prioritizes health and abundance. We do this by supporting community initiatives, markets, farms, and farmers. We do that all through a lot of different programming. We do a lot of work on both the farmer support side, working with the farmer community, and then on the consumer side and working with food access. So starting with kind of the customer side and the food access side, our various programs in that arena are our Saturday Grand Village Farmers Market. We have a Tuesday West End Farmers Market. Those are both in Roanoke City. Our LEAP Mobile Market, which we'll talk about in detail. Our farm share is an aggregated CSA program that we do. We have an online marketplace that we started in COVID, and then community produce is our free produce distribution program. And Connie is kind of the face of the markets and gets to interact with customers and the mobile market managers, and I'm more farmer side and back end support. So I'm going to let Connie talk about the mobile market in detail.
So here's our mobile market. It is a 16-foot box truck. As you see, it has some slide outs. Those pull down. We are currently kind of outgrown the truck a little bit. So in addition to those pullouts, we do set up about 4 to 5 tables that we fill up with food as well. Inside the box truck is a small refrigeration, but we still have to use coolers in addition to that.
It's like an actual fridge. It's not a refrigerated truck. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
Gotta hop it all the way up in the truck into the back corner to use it.
Here was our summer stops. We were able to go out 5 days a week. It was pretty amazing to do that. We were able to go to 14 places. In addition to that, we were able to go to Buchanan and Eagle Rock. We always talk about needs within the city, but there are actual needs in rural areas as well.
This is the first year that we were out 5 days a week.
Yeah.
First year we were outside of Roanoke city limits.
Yeah. In addition to these stops, it's really nice to get, community partner support. Blue Ridge Literacy was amazing in helping us establish and build up Westwood. Roanoke Housing, CHIP, we just recently went out with, we were going to CHIP every week, but Chip and I kind of worked together to find a stop and build it up. Chip sent out, caseworkers, nurses, translators. It just kind of blossomed to this beautiful thing where there was a need and support, and we were able to work together to do that. With Eagle Rock and Buchanan, working with Low Income Housing Authority was really great.
I'd say finding sites to set up the mobile market is probably one of the harder parts of Connie's job, maybe. And she's just done an amazing job working with these partners who actually have relationships with individuals that we don't have, and figuring out, you know, using us as a resource
Yes.
versus us inserting ourselves and trying to force something and going where.
It definitely does. You know, we can definitely tell the sites where we have support at, and it's definitely the key component to it, to build them up. Local for all. So the mobile market, we will always prioritize farmers. We used to only be within 100 miles, putting food onto the truck, but because of the places that we're going and the need is so big, we expanded that up to 300 miles. It's definitely been a game changer for the folks that we are serving, because we're able, for the most part, be able to get them the food that they need year round. There's definitely some weeks where we're not able to have, you know, tomatoes or something like that, but for the most part, because we expanded, we're able to do that.
It just helps people. It helps people be able to like eat local food without it being cumbersome. I don't know the right word for it, but you know, it's really hard if you're eating on a budget to be expected to eat, you know, only strawberries for the 3 weeks that they're available, or in the winter, apples. That's all you get. And you know, now we got like our first delivery of citrus today. So
yeah, and it's really nice because some of the places that we serve, due to their culture, they're used to eating fresh year round, and it's been really amazing to be able to let them still continue eating that way.
eating seasonally is
It's
a luxury.
Yeah.
And so trying to expand the bounds of the season while still staying within our mission to support farmers is a fine line to balance, and we're doing an okay job at it, I think.
Good. Like I said, we will always prioritize our farmers, and it's really amazing, you know, going from the Saturday market at Brandon and talking with a few farmers that might have some things left over, that I'm still able to purchase from these farmers and bring it to the mobile truck, and then talk about the farmer to the customers that we're serving on that mobile. And it's really beautiful when the folks on the mobile market feel comfortable to go to Grandin and actually meet that farmer. It's really awesome. Increasing accessibility. So if you see on the picture, we have some frozen broccoli, cornucopia stew, which I have to say is pretty spot on good. I feel like we fixed the problem of bringing the food to the customers that we're serving, but some of those customers, just where they are in the moment in time, might not be able to chop up broccoli or, you know, butternut squash, or have the means and tools to be able to actually cook a full meal. And, you know, just hearing that feedback on and on, we were able to work with our kitchen manager, and, you know, we have some food left over, we were able to take it to Jeff, and then Jeff was in return able to make this beautiful soup, cut up veggies. In addition to the veggies, we also have cut up fruits, vegetables of all kinds. It's kind of been a game changer for our seniors, that they're able to purchase that, and you know, it's nice to be able to purchase a pint of soup to actually take home and warm up too. Also, the folks, we serve a lot of Hispanic folks, and our Westwood group is Afghani community. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We were able to, at the beginning of the year, we fixed our prices. We were also wanting to be more relatable to the communities that we were serving. And so Kelly was able to come up with this beautiful sign in the language of the customers that we're serving.
We've already gotten a lot of feedback, just even if people don't actually care what the prices are, or they're not using this to get their pricing, like a lot of times they're just asking us what the price of things are, but just to have like a visual of like, we see you and we hear you and we're glad you're here. Just to like see their language up there. We've gotten a few comments that it makes them feel welcome.
Yeah, and also it makes them feel like, you know, they are a part of the community that we are building up in that area. And let me tell you, when a kid can spot his language on the sign and say, hey, that's me, I'm from there, I can read that. That kind of hits home, and that is something that child will always remember is that, you know, the mobile food truck has my language on there.
I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about food processing because it's like a baby. But yeah, we started it. We have all of these programs to work out of our food hub, which I'll talk about. But you know, we are buying this food from farmers, whether it gets sold or not that week. So we're trying to like eliminate food waste, cover our costs, and then, like Connie said, the mobile market. I think we're ending our 8th year of the mobile market. And so in that 8 years, we've been really focused on physical access, bringing food to neighborhoods that don't have grocery stores or options for fresh food, and affordability with our different incentive programs. And those were kind of the two lower hanging fruits. I wouldn't call them low hanging, but lower. And now we're trying to like start working on the other ones. So like, even if we bring that food to folks, even if we cut the price in half, they don't have time to cook it. They don't have a knife at home. It doesn't matter. And so trying to figure out other things that we can do. And like Connie said, we serve a ton of seniors. So like cutting a really hard butternut squash is not that realistic for a lot of them, or eating hard vegetables. And so just trying to think about other ways that we can increase accessibility outside of just physical and affordability.
Yeah.
So then kind of on the farmer community side, we have our food hub and our markets. So the markets are kind of our retail option for farmers in this region, and the food hub is the wholesale option. We try to have as many different ways for as many different scales of farmers to use us to be profitable. We work with over 50 food and farming businesses, including our kitchen, which is a food business incubator kitchen. Oh, there was my timer. And our food hub, which, like I said, all of the food for the mobile market, our farm share, our community produce, our online market, all get delivered to our food hub, and then we pack and distribute from there. So
yeah, just stop and appreciate, like, that is one day. That is
one day delivery.
Yeah, one day delivery, and all that food went out into the community that week. So,
and this was not a thing like last year. We have grown so much just in the last year or two in all of our programs. But the mobile market is specifically really great because we can support farmers of basically any size. Our farm share is like, we need 200 units of any one thing at a time to fill it. But mobile market, like, we can take a 10-pound flat of tomatoes or whatever it is. And so it's a really great way to support the growth of farmers.
Yeah, no matter where that farmer is at, you know, small or big, we were able to support them in some way.
And then the last thing I'll just touch on quick is we're talking about in terms of affordability, in terms of food access. We have several different incentive programs. We have some matching programs and some voucher programs. So most farmers markets in our area here offer SNAP match, Anybody who brings their EBT card to any of our markets, we will accept and then double their purchase for fresh fruits and vegetables. We do the exact same program for anybody with Medicaid or WIC. We can't actually accept WIC cards, but if they show us their WIC card or their Medicaid card, they can buy in with a cash or credit card, and then we'll match it in fresh fruits and vegetables the same way we do with SNAP. Our voucher programs, we do senior vouchers on the mobile market. So every senior at certain sites get $5 each visit. And then this year we started this Market Box program where places like CHIP, LOA are our two biggest partners. They can get these vouchers from us, and then they distribute them to the folks that they serve that we don't necessarily have direct relationships with. And you know, it's been a great way for organizations that aren't necessarily food focused to work food into their services, and again, to use us as a resource. And then people can come to us, or we can do special pop-ups at wherever their folks are meeting or congregating, and just help them with their food budget, help them get introduced to the mobile market. And then a lot of these organizations are able to get their own funding for these, so then we just invoice them on a monthly basis, or we get grants or any of those things. And all of our matching programs are also grant based. Yeah, that's our spiel. We think everyone should go to farmers markets if you can, support local producers, grow food, donate your time, come find us. Yeah, we'll be around for questions and whatnot.
Great. Thanks so much, Kelly and Connie. And Garland just added a link to LEAP in the chat in case folks want to get connected and find out where they can visit you all for mobile and farmers markets. And we're going to also move into the moderated Q&A session. So we're going to get Kim Nawalny here spotlighted, and also BJ, and we're all just gonna, Kim and I are gonna take turns asking questions to our speakers and passing it around and around. So Kim's gonna start us off, but as questions come to you, feel free to add them to the chat, and we will pose them to the speakers once we go through a few of the ones we've already prepared. So I'll pass it to you, Kim.
Great, thank you. And thank all three of you for setting the tone. Some of these questions I think are designed to really kind of take us a little deeper. Particularly this first one, we often get this question around how to do food work the way that you're describing it, but this is for all of you, but think about what key lessons have you learned about connecting and engaging community members with good food? So what key lessons have you learned? And thinking about the ways in which you engage and connect, and doing so through good food. Perhaps Bernadette, would you mind going first?
I don't mind, and forgive me, I was off screen because I started having a little bit of tech issues and I didn't want those gaps in my communication. But as long as y'all can hear me okay.
Loud and clear, wonderful.
So what I've learned is that there is indeed a need for good food, but I also want to highlight that that need should be culturally good food, making sure that we are listening to the community members. So I had to throw that word in there because we all do not desire the same healthy food, but we should be culturally sensitive to the communities we serve to get them access to things that they too want. And we are hopeful that the Foodshed Network and LEAP and so many other organizations, we have, of course, LEAP Run Farm, this new Envision Center, the Carver Garden has been around for a while, meeting those healthy food needs. So We need that to be more culturally aware.
Great. Thank you, Bernadette. Kelly and Connie, would you like to offer your thoughts on lessons you've learned?
BJ, I appreciate you saying that. Culturally aware. Every single stop I go to, the first question, what is it you need? What is it that I don't have? Tell me what you eat. Always engaging with the people that we are serving, talking to them. If there's anything, it's patience, talking, planting the seeds, building the trust, and then starting your community within that area. Every single site on the mobile, I have some folks wanting only collards and other folks only wanting kale. Everybody eats different, and it's not our place to tell them what they need to be eating. It's our place to be hearing what they want to eat. What is going to fill their soul up? What is it that they want to go home and fix a big pot of, And that's what's making a community and starting those relationships, is intentionally hearing the people that you are serving in that moment. I want to stop because I want to cry.
Yeah, I think just go on that a little bit more. Definitely what I feel like at Leap, we've really intentionally tried to kind of make it our way of doing things is to not do things until somebody asks us to, almost. It's like really listening. We're all very passionate, eager people, and it is so easy for us to do for the sake of doing, and to, something that I think would be a good idea is possibly something that nobody else is thinking about or caring about. And so we really try, I think the mobile market is the best example of this, but just listening to what people need and what people want, whether it's the food on the truck or where we go or what hours we're there, or, how we talk about our incentives is really important to listen to feedback. And Connie and I were talking about this yesterday, and we were just talking about, like, in that line of thought, learning how to we're on our own food journeys. Connie and I are on different food journeys from each other. They might be very similar, but they are different. And everybody we interact with is at a different place on that food journey. Everybody comes to local food for so many different reasons. And so it's just like learning how to connect with people over food, which is the easier part, but meeting them where they are on their journey. And I don't know.
I always joke, like, I started my at the Weston Farmers Market. I started building relationships with folks over a jar jam. Like, they come to us, they're seeing it, checking it out. It's the same way with the mobile market, it's like, how can you just kind of meet them where they are? And it's like, starts over a jar jam. And then they purchase that jar jam, and then they start, we start talking, we start connecting, and then it's just like trying something else, and then they'll try something else and come back and like tell me how they liked it, It's just about meeting them where, somebody might not have grown up cooking food, right? So it's like, how can we engage with them? Or, someone hadn't cooked in a while because they've not had the means or a place to cook. And so they're like rebuilding that journey, right? And it's, I came to it in a very like fast food, and now like all of a sudden we're all tipped over, and like I'm cooking this real food now. And it's just like, how do we plant those little seeds to have those folks come back for more? It's going to a site where they don't speak English, and it's a whole lot of this, right? And then they coming at the end of that stop with a pot of tea. Because what it really is like we're bringing them food, but we're all wanting the community aspect of that goes around the food. Because at the end of the day, we all eat. It doesn't matter what we're eating, but we are eating, and it all pulls us together.
Well, thank you all. That is some big wisdom there, like really showing us the ways that you listen to community. I think we've heard that a lot, many of us who do community development work, but to really see and hear about the tangible ways in which you all do that is really inspiring. And the next question we're going to share, we'll do a quick round and then do some audience questions that are coming through the chat. And perhaps we'll pass it to you first, Kelly, then Connie and BJ, and go the opposite direction. But what is your vision for an abundant and healthy food region? And what do you think is a key next step to move us towards that vision?
I think a lot about the farmer side of what I envision an abundant food system to be. And my vision would just be for people to be able to choose small, sustainable farming as a career without having to also choose to sacrifice their quality of life in order to do it. And just for local food to be, like not only at your Saturday farmers market.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, it's, for local quality foods to be accessible for anyone, anywhere. The mobile goes out, every time I take the mobile out, it's like, especially to the rural areas or even in the city, you'd be surprised how far a convenience store or grocery store could be from someone within the city. And that it needs to be more accessible, more affordable for everybody.
And my vision is to actually see a community land trust. We need 21st century safe and accessible spaces. I vision that we will be able to one day acknowledge that folks should not have to be accommodated, because when you know that everybody holds the same value, you will work to resolve until things are good for all, not some. And we definitely are praising and uplifting those that serve to accommodate in spaces. I believe where Kelly and Connie spoke to earlier about, because there is that need. We are all wide awake. We are not asleep. We are acutely aware that there's so much work to be done, and coming together in this way, cultivating care, is a sure way to see this vision that I share come to pass. We know we need brick and mortar. If one community has access to a store within a short drive or a short walk, then another community should have access to a store in a short drive and a short walk, even those people that cannot get where they need to go. I definitely uplift community land trust, because we have to, those of us that have plenty should definitely be okay with sharing with others. And those of us that don't have plenty should definitely be okay with sharing your time and any other things you have to uplift. So there's never an excuse for why we cannot cultivate care in a community. It's not about what you have, but it's about caring to share and come together as a community. I'm just looking at my notes because I can go on and on about vision. So in summary, I would love to see this happen, where I would be able to leave Northwest in Gainesboro, where I'm actually sitting in my home. There are no stores. There are no parks. That's correct. And I'm blessed to have transportation, so I can actually get in my car. But I also am mindful that I have neighbors right next door who walk where they need to go. And so it is my responsibility to care. Do you need anything? Can I bring you anything? And we know a lot should not be shared. but I will use as an example. There are times when I go to the food pantry and I pick up things that I know my neighbors who don't have that type of transportation cannot like carry at the bus stop or walk these miles to get where they're going. So, hey, I use my car. Get in the car if you want to ride, or I'll bring you a box because I care. So cultivating care, and I'm saying this as a disclaimer, there is not a one-path solution to get to this vision of good food access for all. But any solution is better than none. And we now at a point of urgency, we have to try them all. Whether it be my vehicle, taking my neighbor where they need to go, or the LEAP market, bringing in good, healthy food. All of these are solutions that we celebrate because we understand that we need to get to a place where things are good for all, not some.
Yeah, that was just as inspiring as I thought it would be. From where you all sit and the work that you all do. Thank you for sharing those visions and adding them to our collective vision. And Kim, it looks like you might be ready with a couple questions from the chat.
Yeah, thank you all for, again, I know we're getting close on time, but I want to make sure we can acknowledge that this is also a labor of care just sharing with us today. And it's important that we're able to connect and make perhaps some new roots. And I think some of these are coming from the questions. So it's just a nice way to recognize your all's energy. There's some comments first. Let's make sure we're just recognizing some people are just sharing some of the work that they're doing, which is wonderful. And just, uplifting what all three of you are doing in your respective spaces. We have a question from Mary Kletsky. Are there opportunities for recent college graduates to get involved with LEAP or similar organizations in the area?
I would like to shout out before I turn it over to, I know Kelly and Connie have a lot of information. Take Root. Take Root was a program that we were introduced through Hunter and others. I see Troy and I know Cam over at Leak Run Farm. It's an amazing program. Maybe they can share some information about it.
Yeah, at Leap, we use tons of volunteers. We use interns, lots of opportunities for like regular and, once in a while help. And I think just tapping into this RFN group in terms of finding organizations in food or depending on what exactly you're interested in, there's a ton of opportunities in this area. And I won't know what all those opportunities are, but there's a lot of people in this group that have a lot of connections. So reaching out to Mo or Katie or all the different leads of the working groups is a really great resource.
Excellent. Kind of look in terms of the Roanoke larger area. Ruth is asking, are there any future plans to reach the Hollins area? And I assume this is sort of maybe a question that might be directed towards LEAP, but I think this is really pertinent to just where's the region, where's the work, and where are we located?
I want to say the stop that I just did with Chip was actually at the Hollins Trailer Park. And that was our first time out in that area, and we will be back out in that area, I believe on December 14th. Just look at our social media and we'll post the date when we're out there.
It was super successful for our first pop-up, so we're hoping that will be a regular.
Yeah.
Stop.
Great. Excellent. I'm looking for other questions. If you have any that you'd like to share, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Got some engaging commentary, which I really appreciate. Just recognizing and appreciating the opportunity for prioritizing opportunities for frozen meals. Oh, I missed a question by Janelle. In procurement, has LEAP been able to prioritize minority farmers?
We don't have a ton of minority farmers that we have in like direct relationships with. Right now, our current situation is that the demand for local food is much higher than our supply. We mostly work with other food hubs. If people know Tenley Weaver, who was Good Food, Good People, she's now locomotive aggregator employed, runs a food hub. She does a lot of aggregating for us. And then we work a lot with 4P Foods out of Charlottesville. And 4P has some relationships with minority farmers. But it is something we are interested in. We're just trying to find farmers at all. Is kind of how it's going. And yeah, like land access is a real thing, and it's kind of hard to farm in this area due to mountains. So yeah, it's something we would like to prioritize. It's been hard to make a priority of it when we don't have farmers.
Thank you both for all that. This is on the aside. I know there's a growing Black farmer directory that's being led by Black and brown farmers here in the Commonwealth. So something to think about and continue to be all part of that that solution. It's an important one for sure. I know we're getting close on time here. We want to make sure we have an opportunity to ask all three of you to think about closing thoughts, reflections, ideas that you want to make sure you get out to the group here before we close. Is there anything you'd like to share with us today before we wrap up? I want to turn it over to Bernadette.
I definitely just want to share my appreciation for the opportunity to give voice. I appreciate this platform, the work that is being shared, that's being done. For all of those of you that's in the chat, hopefully, I know I will go back and look at this video so that I can take notes, more notes intentionally, and gather all this feedback. But I just want to say that I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we are working on resolution, which means we acknowledge that there's something going on, that we are all in good faith relationship, cultivating care to resolve. And we won't stop. I believe all of us that's here today commit. We will not stop until things are good for all, not some. Thank you.
Thank you, BJ. Kelly, Connie?
Okay. I was just going to say that, you know, I feel like it's really easy to feel overwhelmed by the situations that we find our society in. And it can be really hard to continue to do our jobs and not feel like, well, you know, it's a drop in the bucket and we're not making a difference. And Connie was just talking about this.
I think for me, is in the beginning, it was like I couldn't find an answer, and it was like it was really hard. It was like bringing me down, and then, you know, talking with other mobile market managers is just like feeling very defeated in your job, because like we can't fix it all, but what we can do is we can try today, and we can fix something today. It might not be the bigger picture, but it's a little something to help us yearn for tomorrow, right? And it's like, let's focus on today, let's focus on tomorrow, let's focus on a week, but let's take it no more than a week at a time. Because we got to keep everything going. We got to keep our momentum up in order to help spread the word, in order to help get everything out there in the community, to be able to work with our partners, you know, to do something. And something is better than nothing if all we're doing is thinking about how can I fix this in a year, right? And so.
Well, speaks to the necessity of caring for one another and yourself as you work through the process. So I think that's really important. And we are at our time here. Thank you all for, many people have already put in some commentary and resources. Thank you, Janelle, for putting in the Black Farmer Directory. Troy, you've offered several really great suggestions regarding the programming, and also a shout out to the Agrarian Commons, which we had the opportunity to hear from Cam Terry of our last session. And we're going to continue thinking about these models. And you guys want to uplift, I absolutely appreciate, there are so many possibilities, and to uplift them and keep all of them on the table and moving us in the right direction. And I think that's what you all did here today, is to illustrate the work that you're doing from that ground up. We can always keep an eye on the end goal is you're all saying, we need to have good food for all, and there's no exception. So keep doing that excellent work, and all of you. So thank you for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Katie to wrap us up.
Yeah, just want to echo really, really deep gratitude each time we end one of these learning exchanges. I just feel so uplifted, and I just feel really, really touched with everything that you all shared. And thank you for the wisdom and advice and ideas, and really the love and care you share for our community. So yeah, excited to keep doing this work with you all, and invite folks who may not be looped in yet to join us. And we have one additional learning exchange left in January, and it's focused on regenerative agriculture. So we're kind of going to the farm for this one, and have Brent and Anna Wills from Bedford County and Adam Taylor from Catawba County coming out and really talking about the farming aspect of our food system. So we invite you to join for that. The registration link is in the chat where you can find more information. And again, we will have this recorded, so we invite you to keep weaving and sharing this information in our community. It'll be available on our website, and there'll be future ways for you all to share that too. So just invite you and encourage you to share this out with folks. With that, I think we're all set today, and just want to also thank Garland Mason in the background, who's been helping with tech support. It's been super helpful. And thank each one of you all for joining today for this conversation. Thank you for your presence, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank
Bye.
you.